And so they ask in the book, who built the moon, how come that the megalithic yard can be seen to be in the construct of the moon and also in the construct of Stonehenge and here and other places? Well, the answer is straightforward. Those that are manipulating the Earth from the moon provided the knowledge and the ability to build these great megalithic structures. So, of course, they did it in a way that related to the geometry that they wanted, because, of course, geometry is and mathematics is a very, very powerful level of this reality. And if you get it right, you can manipulate the way things are. And this is going to be very controversial when I say this, for many people anyway. But I don't think that at least many of these great megalithic structures were put there for the benefit of humanity. I think they were put there to disturb and rewire the planetary grid. Because, of course, we are sitting here now, like everyone else living in this world, we're living in a certain level of the Earth's atmosphere, and we're living in an energetic field. And I said to someone once, how do you affect every fish at the same time? And he said, I don't know. I said, you affect the sea. And so if they can affect the energy field, the sea of energy that we are daily living in, they can, because we're energy interacting with that, they can affect fundamentally our state of mind, our state of emotion, our state of perception. And I think that, and I've come across this many times, going right back almost to the start 20 years ago, that the energy field of the Earth should be infinitely more powerful than it is. And it's been, in effect, not totally switched off, but it's been dramatically reduced, the amount of power that we have, the energy we have to interact with. And this has had many, many major effects on life on Earth, not least the length of life. And also, I feel this, that if you go back, as we perceive time, far enough, you'll find that humans did not eat solid food. They absorbed what they needed to live from the atmosphere, because the energy field was so powerful. They could also, the Earth was very different. It was very abundant, and people didn't have to work to eat and therefore serve a system. When we did eat solid food, it was all around us in fruits and trees and all the rest of it, all over the place, because the forests were devastated that used to be there, and of course that has a major effect on the ability for people to be self-sufficient without having to serve a system. But my feeling is that if you go back far enough, animals, humans, we used to absorb what we needed, what we call food, from the energy around us. And once you reduce or remove the need for solid food, dramatic things start to happen in terms of the world that we live in. For instance, animals don't have to kill animals to survive. Humans don't have to kill animals to survive. And it seems to me that there came a point when this devastation, I call it the schism in the book, the schism, when this devastation came, possibly when the moon arrived, that there was suddenly an energy deficit between the energy that was available to be absorbed as before and the energy that we needed to absorb and the nutrients that represented to stay alive, what we call physically. And that energy gap had to be made up. And it was made up by consuming energy in another form, which is eating food as we perceive it today. Now, once that happened, now you've got the law of the wild. The law of the wild, which is survival. So if I don't survive, then if I don't kill you, I don't survive, so I must kill you to survive. And when you then transfer that mindset to the world of today, what is the world based on? It's based on survival, financial survival, physical survival, survival in all areas of our lives. And as I've been banging out for so many years, the reptilian brain is obsessed with survival. It's every thought it has, not that it has thought, it has reactions, are based on survival. And this hive mind that is being broadcast from the moon, I would say, which we're picking up through the reptilian brain and other parts of our genetics, is based on a feeling of survival, survival, survival. Because once you lose the fear of not surviving, everything changes. Everything changes. Your decisions change, your perceptions change, how you interact with other people changes. And it's feeding us also this, you know, so many people, the vast overwhelming majority of people, they have this niggling sense of anxiety in the background. That's why a lot of people don't like silence, because when you go into the silence, I love silence now, I never used to like it before, but when you go into the silence, then you can start to feel these background noises, if you like, of this incessant anxiety. So, okay, keep my conscious mind focused, then I don't have to feel that anxiety. Put the telly on, get into the car, put the radio on, put some music on, talk to me, let's do this, let's do that, let's keep the conscious mind active, because then I can't feel this anxiety. But when you go into the silence, often most people feel this background anxiety. Where is this coming from? It's being fed to us from the moon, I would suggest, just like this fear of not surviving is constantly being fed to us from the moon. And therefore, it has completely changed the human society that existed before, which was, if we realize what human society was before, we would be staggered at what it's become. And it's funny, I saw that movie, Avatar, and I don't know what it symbolized for the makers of it, but I know what it symbolized for me. You had the blue people with the lion noses. I perceive them as lion people. I got a lion on the front of my book, funnily enough, before I'd even seen the movie. And they had this incredible rapport with everything else, with the trees, with the plants, with everything. Everything was one unified consciousness, which is what we are. What the hack has done is disconnect our perception of that. And then in the movie, the American military that represented humans coming in with their high-tech weaponry to take this place over because they wanted these very valuable resources on this moon. And they started to devastate the blue people's society, way of life, oneness, unity, everything. Now, for me, the Americans and their weaponry arriving to do that didn't represent humans as humans used to be. The blue people represented humans as humans used to be before the hack. And what the left brain cell donors coming in with their weaponry represented were, for me, those predators, I would say a reptilian race, that actually came in and did to the Earth what they tried to do in the Avatar movie to the blue people and their way of life.
Well, when you look at ancient cultures, every ancient culture talks about, a golden period of peace and prosperity. And they also all talk about the gods coming in. And if you look at Genesis, it doesn't say that God created man. It says that God made man in his image. He remade man. He asks man to replenish the earth, not to plenish the earth.
That is a very, very relevant point, because that's exactly what they did. They remade the human form so it would pick up the moon matrix, which operates on a certain frequency range, and they have to make the receiver receive on that frequency range, and that's what the genetic manipulation was about. So what you've just said absolutely fits what I most profoundly believe is happening.